Hello, everybody. Peter Gantner here. Welcome to our presentation. We're going to be talking about a very exciting change in the way and the direction that finances are going, and a way that is actually open to, because throughout history, right, lots of different changes have happened in finance, but most of the time they have been only for the elites, the wealthy. We've all heard the saying, the wealthy keep getting wealthier. We've seen, people's wealth go from a few billion to 100 billion. So that has been something that has always been happening. But again, most of that have been reserved for the super wealthy. So in 2009, though, there was a major change to that, which was the creation of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, which cryptocurrency was a part of it, but really it was this idea and concept of blockchain encryption, things that would allow for transactions to take place without having to get permission from a bank or permission from some greater power out there that believe that they know more than us on how to put things together. And so that was the formation and the beginning of what is now considered to be Web3. It's the next layer of the internet. So there's Web 2. Web 2 is, I call it, the platform web, meaning the platform founders of things like Facebook and Amazon and PayPal and Slack. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, of platforms that were formed where the founders became billionaires, employees became wealthy, investors became wealthy, but for the most part, we just got to use that. Well, when blockchain was developed and put forward, there was now an opportunity to create a whole new web, which is Web3, which is a web that has some amazing benefits to you and I, and to be honest with you, to everyday people. And I'm going to go over some of those benefits right now. One is greater control over our own personal data. A lot of people don't know this, but actually the way these platforms are making money is not necessarily off the direct product or service that they give us. It's once we post something, once we interact with that platform, they have a enormous amount of data on you and I. And I guess the best example of that is you could be online and you click on an advertisement for something that you have no real interest in. It just grabs your attention. So you click on it, and then all of a sudden, there's actually technology, guys, that chase you around the internet. And it connects all this data together, and it says, oh, here you are. Okay, bam, here's some information. And they literally hunt us down. Well, a matter of fact, if you went to the data companies, all put together, they could write a profile on you that was pretty amazing. And you would be like, how do they even know half that stuff, right? Because of the way that they are able to. So in this new Web3, greater control over your own data. And that means if you control it, you can monetize it if you want to, or not monetize it if you don't want to. Okay. True ownership of digital assets. I don't know if, again, maybe you do know this. Once you put your money in the bank, it's actually not your money anymore. It belongs to the bank, right? And so, with this digital assets, with the technology that's built, wallets, things like that, that are completely decentralized, you own that asset and it's yours, and you can do with it what you want to do with it. Access to decentralized finance. This is a huge one, guys. This is what I started to talk about in the beginning. There's a whole type of investments out there that the super wealthy can participate in. A lot of it's startups, right? When you're raising money for startups, new businesses, unless you know somebody, you got to be accredited investors, or, there's just a whole realm of things that you need to jump through in order to be able to invest in some of the early investment stages in companies out there. With DeFi, that completely eliminates that. You could have $50 and that's what you have to your name, and you believe in an opportunity and you can put it in that opportunity. And then when that opportunity 50 or 100 or 2 or 3 or 500Xs, you can benefit from that opportunity. So decentralized finance is a better type of finance for everyday people to be able to be involved and be a part of it. Censorship resistance. Of course, free speech, right? Being able to communicate what and when you want to is a very important right out there. Direct monetization for creators and users. This is the biggest one to most of us. I got to say, I don't consider myself a creator out there. So it's great that Web 2 allows for creators to monetize. But here's the problem is they need to monetize through platforms that take the majority share of the revenue. They get a small piece of their own creation. The platforms are getting the bigger piece. With Web 3, the creators are going to get a bigger piece of it, but here's the great part about it. The users. So think of if let's say YouTube, it is not, okay? But let's say YouTube was a Web3 platform. Every time you went and watched a video, you would receive some type of digital benefit, a digital asset that has the potential that if that platform takes off and grows and becomes a multi-billion-dollar, gazillion-dollar producing platform, that you would get a piece of that money. That in itself right now, if you think about it, guys, every one of us should want Web3 to become the everyday business, the way it's done. Because think about all the platforms you use. Think about shopping on Amazon, using a PayPal, or any of those type of things. And then think about that benefiting you financially in that way. All right. And then, of course, the bottom one, the last one is lower cost, borderless transactions. I don't know if you've ever tried to send money overseas or tried to do stuff like that, guys. It's very difficult to be able to do that on the borderless transactions. And of course, who doesn't want to lower the cost? Still today, $25 to send a wire. It's just insane that we're paying. Oh, and by the way, the person who receives the wire needs to pay another $15, right? So $40 just from taking my $10,000. Let's say I was wiring $10,000 from this ledger on this bank, because that's what it is, a ledger, and then moving it over to this ledger here. It's simply a data information. It takes seconds to do, but yet they're charging $40 for that. And then more transparent and secure interaction. This one's huge right here. Transparency. How many people feel out there that your bank is transparent? That the current financial system is transparent? It's not. And that's why, a lot of the things can happen because of the lack of transparency. I would love to have a financial system that's transparent, and that is Web3. Matter of fact, I have a chart here. I went ahead and asked Grok, hey, Grok, can you lay out the benefits of Web3 and the benefits of Web2? And it did. And a matter of fact, the blue is Web3 and the red is Web2. So you can see that already today, this is at this moment, decentralization, Web3 beats Web2. User data ownership, Web3 beats Web2. Transparency beats Web2. Security, it's tied. So this is the security one. Interoperability, usability, right, between users. Again, Web3 beats it. The only one, and this is the reason why Web3 has struggled to this point to grab traction with the masses. There's already about 7.5%, 8% of the population that's engaging in some form or fashion with cryptocurrency, with Web3, but it hasn't been able to go to the masses because of this one right here. Well, guess what? We have found a company, it's called WeFi, that has solved this problem. And within the next 24 to 36 months, the scalability is going to move from here out to here. And in that way, Web3 beats Web2 in every single way possible. I want to ask you a question. If there's a concept out there that, like, I'll use food for an example. There's a spaghetti sauce out there, and it's a major brand, but then a new brand comes along, and it's cheaper, it tastes better, it cooks better, everything is better about it. And then it finally gets to where the masses get a chance to taste it. $9 a jar here, $4 a jar here, tastes better. How long do you think it's going to take for the one that's lower cost, better tasting, everything's better about it, to dominate and have it become the sauce of the day? And that's where we're at right now with Web3. In the next few years, Web3 is going to go mass. It's going to begin to replace a lot of the businesses, the opportunities and stuff that are on it. Now, WeFi said, how do we fix all the problems, this scalability issue? There's only one real area that we could build out to fix those, and that's the banking. They said, we've got to change the banking industry. So I wanted to see, what did banking look like as far as an industry in 2024 is the latest year I could find. And I found out that banks' revenues after risk costs reached a record 5.5 trillion, that is with a T, in 2024. A massive sum of money, helping push the sector's net income to over $1.2 trillion, the highest total ever for any industry. So banking is the most profitable industry in the world. That's good to know. And normally you'd be like, well, what does it matter to me? I can't start a bank, right? It's controlled. It's a difficult industry to break into. Well, guess what? That has changed. WeFi is it is breaking into the banking. It's changing it. They're starting a new type of bank, which is called DEOBanking. It's a decentralized on-chain bank. It's taking all the benefits of Web3 and it is inserting a banking entity into that. And it's a banking entity. And I'm going to show you the founders of it and the team that's behind it. The fact that they have all the financing in place, everything out there to run this thing is in place. And think about the profit margins that are there, guys. Imagine having a banking entity that every time you used it, you would get digital assets that reflected the value of the bank and the fact that the bank could accelerate in value and become worth more and more all the time. So let's talk about the team. I've been working with entrepreneurs for quite some time now. And the one thing that I realized, great product, financing, bad team, not going to work out very well. Mediocre product, even if it doesn't have necessarily all the financing, but a great team, and it will come together eventually and become very successful. So the founders of the company are one of the most important parts of a formula for success. And that is where WeFi really shines. The founder of it is Reeve Collins. Reeve Collins is a billionaire. He actually made the money as in being in business. His first out of college company that he went to work with as a founding employee was an ad agency that ended up doing a public exit went public in 2000 at a $6.6 billion market cap, of course, making him wealthy. He went on to have other exits in 2002, and that continued on. Matter of fact, guys, I've spent a lot of time working with businesses, and there's software out there that does valuations on businesses. And it's not just me who thinks it's important that the founders are the most important part of a formula. As a matter of fact, if you go look and you go into the software and you put, hi, I'm a founder, and you mark, that you've never done anything before, and you do the same valuation, it'll come up with, let's say, a $50 million valuation on your project. But if you go up there and you say you've had an exit before and other team members have had an exit, it will give you a much higher valuation with the same details as before, because the fact is that they know that success follows success, right? It's a known fact that successful people that have done it and been there before, have a higher chance of succeeding a second time or a third time because of the experiences and their know-how on it, right? So here's the important one, though. In 2013, an amazing thing happened. Three gentlemen got together. One of them was Reeve Collins, and they said the crypto industry needs something extremely bad. They need a stable cryptocurrency, one that didn't fluctuate like all the ones that had existed before then. And they said this would become a core fundamental piece of the crypto industry. And they were correct, and they successfully did it. They started a project called Tether. Tether is what is called a stable coin. Stable coins now, as a matter of fact, Fidelity just announced they're starting a stable coin. That is the range at which stable coins hit. In 2013, they started it. Today, that stablecoin, that project is worth $185 billion. Now, in the essence of Web3, the majority of that wealth is owned by other people, not Reeve Collins and his partners, but by other people, because that is the way that stablecoins, that's the way Web3 works and is developed. So we have a gentleman here, Reeve, who has started one of the core fundamental, the foundation of the Web3 space, and he's starting a new project, which is WeFi, and we have the opportunity to get involved with that. And I'll explain to you how. It's very low friction, low. It's not like, hey, sell your house, move somewhere. We're going to show you how easily you can get involved with it. And actually, there's a way to get involved with it at absolutely no cost. And then there's a way to get involved where you'll be doing mining with no equipment, right? It's just, it's almost unbelievable that we can get involved and be a part of this as easily as we can. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to let you guys hear from Reeve, and he will explain to you exactly what WeFi is, why he started it. And let's hear from Reeve real quick. Let me make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the play button.
The next piece in delivering on the promise of blockchain, which is democratized access to high quality financial services for the world. We're finally ready for that. And so that's my company called WeFi. So that's wefi.co. And it is a DEOBank. We've coined a new term called DEOBank, a decentralized on-chain bank. So there's banking in the traditional systems, and then the neobank, which is using the traditional system, but with no physical presence, just online. And the DEOBank is, instead of using the traditional system, it's online, but it's using the future system, the blockchain. And so what that enables is just better services at cheaper rates, because the blockchain does what the regular system does, but just much, much, much more efficiently and on a global scale. And so we've packaged and simplified the complexities of utilizing blockchain-based wallets and making investments in DeFi and different things like that. We've really created a very simple and friendly user interface and beautiful brand around it called WeFi. So people can then just get higher quality services. So the first product is a card, and then it'll be lending, and then it'll be actually earning high yield on your savings account, above 10%, and then access to DeFi investments all through this user interface.
And has that launched yet?
That's launched.
Okay.
Yeah. And the beauty of WeFi is we're also putting the community first, and WeFi is truly delivering on the promise of Web3, which is ensuring the community is the one that gets rewarded for participation. So there's a token. So we have an ITO, which is an initial technology offering, and people can buy into that, which mines WeFi tokens, which power the network and provide all the rewards. And since we're doing that type of sale, because then tens of thousands of people, and soon over 100,000 people, will be investors and customers. Because while we do provide very efficient banking services in a very beautiful package, there are a lot of people providing banking services. So how do you get ahead in that? You get lots of customers by making them your investors and by rewarding them the most and by giving them the rewards of the network and the large.
So guys, that is the key right there to Web3. And again, I mentioned, what if Amazon did that? What if eBay had done that? What if all these other platforms in Web2 had said, you know what? We want to get customers. In order to get those customers, let's create a rewards program that allowed that, not a rewards program where you get points and go get a free sandwich. Rewards programs that says, as this company grows and becomes more and more valuable, more and more successful, that digital asset has the ability to grow with it and continue to build wealth. Now, of course, one person doesn't make a team. He went out and found 4 other founders who all have vast experience in different ways that are necessary and needed to be able to build a global bank like this, a DEOBank. One of them is, of course, Maxim. He is in his 30s, but already created success for himself in IT, finance, and Web3. So he's already been very successful. So remember when we talked about valuation, it's past successes. You have Reeve's past successes. You have Maxim's past successes. And then you, of course, have Roman Rosoff. He's developing the product. He's head of product development, but basically the CTO. He's building all the technology that is needed in order to run this DEOBank. And he's done it already before. Over the last 10 years, he helped build the software and the technology for Wise Bank. I was on last night, 11 o'clock last night, doing a presentation for some people in Thailand. One was from Europe, and the other one was from Australia. And when I mentioned Wise Bank, they absolutely agreed that it is the best bank software out there. So he's already built great technology. So when you start seeing this, you see the whole team rounded out. I'm going to play a video right now that actually where you can hear briefly from all 5 founders of their perspective of where this is headed. And remember, if success shows the pathway to the future, then WeFi is going to be very successful because all 5 founders have created massive success in their own lives and in the lives of other people.
Hello, my name is Reeve Collins. I created Tether, the world's first stablecoin. It's amazing to see how stablecoins have become the foundation of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now I'm building WeFi, a bank reimagined with community at its core. Powered by blockchain, WeFi operates at a fraction of traditional banking costs, allowing us to share the value directly with our users. Our community doesn't just use the platform, they are the heart of it. They earn the rewards and reap the benefits of their contributions. With world-class financial products and a relentless focus on user empowerment, WeFi isn't just a bank, it's a global movement. Join us in building the future of financial access for the world.
WeFi is the first bank built for crypto. As stablecoins go mainstream, all transactions will eventually move to crypto rails because they are faster, cheaper, and smarter. Traditional banks will try to catch up, but we are already there. WeFi designed for a crypto native today and for the billion who will become crypto users tomorrow. We make banking more rewarding, more efficient, and more fun. WeFi isn't just a better crypto bank. It's a better bank, period.
Hey everyone, I lead product and technology at WeFi. This is a full-stack company built in-house by engineers, developers, and designers. Everything you see from staking to real-time portfolio tracking is custom and is modular and self-custodial. You can move money, stake, use, and hold all in one place. We ship fast, but we care about every detail: UX, security, and clarity. My job is to turn complexity into something people actually want to use. Not a theory, a working product. And we are just getting started.
At WeFi, I focus on bringing crypto into real everyday business. More people are using digital assets, but merchants still struggle to accept them. We're solving that. From crypto-enabled POS terminals to ATM networks and merchant tools, we build the infrastructure that makes crypto work on the ground. This isn't tomorrow's use case, it's already happening and we're making it simple.
I served as the global head of private banking for the National Bank of Abu Dhabi and was CEO to 3 banks in Switzerland. I spent over 25 years in global banking. Over time, I saw how traditional systems began to fall behind. Slow, expensive, very complex, and disconnected from the digital world. What drew me to WeFi is that it's not a patch on old finance. It's a purposely built DEOBank, fast, transparent, and ready for a global user base from day one. From experience, I can say that this is not a passing trend. It's a fundamental shift from closed systems to open ones, from control to collaboration. And WeFi is building that shift with clarity and conviction.
So guys, here you have a team of people that created a substantial amount of wealth for themselves and investors in the past. And what they've said is, we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to create that wealth for the community. You heard it from Reeve himself, talking about the community gets the benefits and the rewards. So I'm going to jump in right now and actually show you how simple and easy it is to do it. So this is my one of my accounts here. I'm going to go ahead and actually pop over here and grab a wallet address. I am going to show how simple and easy it is for you to actually buy ITO units, start mining the WFI token. By the way, guys, you're mining this token at where it's at right now at less than 25 cents a token. Why is that important? By the time the mining is over with, over the next 6.5 years, your net cost by the cost of the ITO will be less than 25 cents each. This is the reason why it's super important to understand that is literally right now at 1/10 of the cost of what the token is right now. So you could say, hey, I'm going to go and just buy the token right now. You would be buying it at 10 times the price of what you would be buying it at right now by simply purchasing ITO units and mining it at this point. And then there's, of course, other benefits and stuff that are available by mining it. So I'm actually going to go, I have some USDT. I'm going to go ahead and send that over. Of course, the one that Reeve helped, found and create. I'm going to send that over to this wallet here, click here, and it's sent. So I just sent money, just like maybe wiring money from a bank or whatever, to the account. It is going to pop in here shortly. And then what I'm going to be able to do is go in and purchase some ITO units. In the meantime, though, I'm going to show you something else. So the way WeFi is formed is there's a decentralized layer, and then there's a very small centralized entity that gets all the regulatory banking licenses and stuff in order for it to bridge crypto and fiat, which must be part of the solution. I actually heard of another banking concept that says, oh, we're never going to touch fiat. We're just a crypto bank. That is not going to work, guys. There's two systems, fiat and crypto. You need something that's going to blend together the two of them seamlessly between it. So one of the things is that when you buy an ITO unit, you get the miner that's going to mine the WFI token, but you're also going to get a gift certificate, one share on the gift certificate to every one ITO that you purchase at this point, because there's a 30% extra bonus for staking your tokens for your account for 5 years. I'm going to show you that when we get to that point. But here's an account right here. There's a few $1,000s in this account, but you can see that I believe it's about $3,000, that 8835 shares would be over $8,000. That's more than double what I've paid for the ITO units, which, by the way, are mining those WeFi tokens. So I have those in addition to the value of this. And this would be if this was just an utter mediocre success at all. But look what happens, guys, if this becomes the Amazon of the banking industry. And by the way, I want you to really think about this. There were already major retailers in the world in the mid-90s, Walmart. However, a small startup called Amazon today is the biggest retailer in the world. How did that happen? Because legacy, in this case, in the banking, legacy finance will not become the biggest bank in this new Web3, in this DEOBanking space. It will be a startup, an early stage company that from the beginning, and Khalid mentioned it in the thing, it's purposely built from the ground up. And that's the reason why Amazon was able to eventually outgrow Walmart, because it was built as a commerce company, an internet commerce company from the ground all the way up. It wasn't a legacy retailer moving over in that space. And we've seen that time and time again. car companies, Ford sells electric cars, but why is Tesla? Because Tesla was built from the ground up as a technology electric car company. And so it was able to use efficiencies and stuff to beat that out. So you get the certificate for the shares. Right now, ITOs are selling for 60 cents each. So I sent over $51. That should be about 90 something ITO units that we'll receive for that. This round is almost completed, guys. So if you're going to jump in, there's only about 8.5% of these ITOs. Then it will go from 60 cents to 62.5 cents. There is a reason to, figure out, do your due diligence, do everything that you need to do, and then decide if you want to jump in. I will still be buying more at 62.5 cents. It's just better to get them at 60 cents because you're going to end up with more ITO units. So we're going to pop back over here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit buy ITO units. You can see this is my miners here running, guys. I've mined 514 WFI tokens that have a value of $2.50 each. That's $1,288. This account has generated a 42% return on my investment in a very short period of time. And this will run for 6.5 more years. You can easily put a couple, a 0 or 2 on this, meaning 428, 4,028, or 280% return by the time the 5.5, 6 or 6.5 years of mining is left. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit buy ITO units, and this is as simple as it is. Once I go through this activity that I'm about to go through, I could never log back into this account for the next 6.5 years, guys. And it will continue to run without any incident, right? It will continue to produce tokens for me. I don't need to do any more. There's no maintenance that needs to be done. There's no software that's needed. There's no special computer needed. All I simply have to do is there we go. Let's select that right there. So I've selected the wallet there. I'm going to go ahead and hit max here. I'm going to go ahead and back off the 4 cents. I'm going to hit continue. So I should have gotten 90 something. Of course, I'm getting 109 ITO units for my $51 because I'm getting 30% extra boost. The reason why I'm getting a 30% extra boost because I've committed to locking the tokens that are mined up for 5 years in order to get the absolute best maximum return on this, because I believe that this token is going to $26, $260, well beyond that, because seeing the team that's in place, what they're doing. There was an event in Germany, and some people went to it, and they showed a small group of people the software that's actually built. So they're not building this software, guys. This is all already built. The ATM technology is already built. The POS equipment is already, technology is built. The entire exchange has already been built. They're just waiting to roll it out with getting some regulatory stuff, which should happen anytime now over in Europe, where this is going to roll out. So everything is already built. We've got a dynamite team, dynamite technology. You'll see that I got 109 more ITO units. So my balance here has now gone up from where it was. I can also scroll back down here. Remember, I get the ITO units, and then I scroll down here and I hit, give it a second more, and you're going to see that I'm also going to receive additional shares, certificate. My certificate's going to go up in value now. So I hit this verify button. I have now 110 more shares. Once I hit that, of course, the potential value of those shares once they're issued goes up as well. So now I have, even more value here that I can possibly get as this thing continues to grow and build. So there's also 2 other ways to benefit from this. So this is, I just want to be a passive. I want to put some, USDT in my account, buy some ITO units, do my click, take my action that's necessary in order to mine these tokens. And that's all I want to do. Perfect. However, there is, and somebody invited you to this call or sent you this video. The reason for that is there's an affiliate program in place here. Remember, Reeve talked about the community helping build the customer base of this, and the community gets rewarded for that. So customers that just use the product will get rewarded, but the customers who help build and share the word about WeFi, right? To become a customer, they will benefit also financially. So there is an affiliate program in place, and this affiliate program, oh, there we go, is quite lucrative in the short term and in the long term. So we recommend it to about a dozen people. That dozen people has turned into 844 WeFi customers and miners. Okay. A few are just customers. Most of them are mining right now. And of course, every time somebody purchases any ITO units, there's a up to 25% commission that goes out. I've already made well over $35,000, closing in on $40,000 between what I've earned in this account and my other account, and in bonuses that I've received for hitting levels in the compensation plan. But it is very lucrative to share this. And I like this short-term money. But really what got me super excited about this program was I met a gentleman, friend, who is in the banking industry, and he created software in the 80s, early 80s for ATM machines. He lives in a phenomenal house, extremely wealthy. At one point was one of the largest owners in the basketball and in the baseball team here in Arizona, where I live. And he basically made his fortune off of micro pennies on every transaction that took place. And ever since I met him, I was like, man, I'd love to be able to do that. Think about just, every time somebody swiped a debit card inside the machine, just having that money pile up and pile up and pile up and pile up. And so when I saw WeFi, I'm like, first of all, this is the solution to bringing Web3 to the masses. But I need that. I have other crypto assets, so I need everybody to get in because then they can reach their full potential. But then thinking about it and saying, wait a minute, I can share this with other people. And every time they do any banking with WeFi, I can get a portion of those banking fees. Because WeFi has committed to taking all banking fees, 100% of all the banking fees, and share 50%, not of the profit, of the full revenue. So there's $10 in banking fees, $5 of that gets distributed out to the community. $5 goes to WeFi.co, the banking entity, which, by the way, remember, we have shares coming in that entity. They'll run the bank efficiently, have profits left, and then distribute those profits out to the shareholders as dividends. So ultimately, this is a bank that's being built for the people. It's utilizing the best concept of Web3, which is you participate and you earn financially. And I could see a day where there's 1 billion people that are part of the WeFi bank. Remember the sauce analogy, better in every single way. That's what will attract people to it. Better returns, better, lower fees. I mean, just all the way across the board. So with that, and it getting to that number of customers that are in the world, imagine what the shares will be worth. And of course, imagine what the token would be worth. It could be worth several $100 per token. And in my one account that I was showing you, I'd already mined hundreds of tokens, right? So think about what that could be worth for yourself. You get in, you start mining. 6.5 years from now, you've mined 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 tokens, depending on how much you put in. And those tokens are $200 or $300 each. There's a young gentleman in 2009 that was in college, and he was doing a paper on cryptology. So he needed to write his grade, right? It was part of his class curriculum. And in doing that on cryptology, he ran into this thing called Bitcoin. And he said, oh, let me try it. So he buys $27 worth of Bitcoin. Not because he believed in Bitcoin, not because he thought, hey, it's going to be worth a lot of money. Just it was part of a lesson plan. Buys $27 in Bitcoin. 4 years later, hears about Bitcoin through some news organization and goes, oh, I wonder if mine is. Logs in, and his Bitcoin is worth over $850,000. A $27 chance. Sells 20% of it, pays off all of his debts. He's in great shape, holds on to the rest of it. It ended up being 5,000 Bitcoin. He sold 1,000. cashed out some money, held on to the rest of it. Today, guys, that Bitcoin is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, are you going to be able to put $27 in WeFi and end up with that? I don't think so. But could you put in $50 or $1,000 and have it turn into several $100,000 or maybe $1 million? I absolutely believe it's possible. That's why I do these presentations, and that's why I have put so much. I've purchased tens of thousands of dollars in ITO units because I believe in what they're doing. I believe in this team. And the great part is it doesn't take much to have to believe in them because they've been so successful throughout their own careers up until this point, including the founder, the key founder, Reeve Collins, has already created something that has completely revolutionized the blockchain Web3 space. Bitcoin wouldn't be what it's worth today without stable coins. Ethereum wouldn't. The entire industry would not be where it's at today without Reeve Collins. So when you think, wait a minute, I have the opportunity to be in business with somebody who's already innovated an industry, and now he's going to do it in the banking industry, this is a no-brainer to decide to get involved with and be a part of. The real idea is, are you going to become a free banking customer and just use the services when they open in your country? Or are you going to get some ITO units and start mining the tokens? Or are you going to start share this with other people and help them as well financially? So thank you for joining me today. Again, this is an affiliate program. Get back with the person who invited you here or shared this video with you. They will get you their link. You can get signed up underneath them. They benefit, you benefit, and we end up fixing and changing the banking world and bring Web3 to the rest of the world as well. Thanks for joining me tonight or today.